Hi, I'm Cold Girl.
And I'm the blind redhead.
Welcome to Blind and Brown.
Let's get into it. We're in such an interesting moment with everything because artificial intelligence, I feel like 3 years ago, artificial intelligence came into the consumer market. And I think that really triggered a lot of different things. Because I know I've been using generative AI like just in Photoshop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're just doing a clone stamp or like you're just selecting and masking, like those are just things that we're using machine learning and artificial intelligence for years and years and years. And now here we are where it's like, okay, well now the average consumer
can build a website.
Also has access to and to be fair, like we should define AI in the sense that we're talking about it today is going to be in LLMs, large language models. It's based on predictive text, basically. But I just kind of wanted to, I think that this is a really important thing and interesting thing to talk about because, especially since you and I are both in creative fields. But I'm just curious, like for good or bad, like how has AI come into your life and where are you at with everything that we're, kind of looking at?
It's such a tough subject, right? Like I feel so at odds with it in a lot of ways because one, like there's the environmental impact of it all that's been at the top of mind of like so many people that have been talking about this and the people issue of it all as well, where they're building these cooling spaces. So there's all of this human and earth and these planetary issues and human issues that have me very much feeling icky about the use of AI. And then at the same time, I have always struggled with writing. I can do creative writing. I did good in my like whatever high school AP lit class, but reading comprehension or like having to write for specific prompts, that was always tough for me. And to do it in short time frames with the speed at which that we are required as designers currently, because AI hasn't fully taken over yet, the speed at which you're supposed to produce is so much faster than the human can actually do. And so it has been helpful in that way, especially even like how you were saying with generative AI being able to utilize them to predict what a background should look like on.
Right.
Because when I think back, they didn't even call it AI at the time, right?
Which does use machine learning, which by the way, like machine learning and artificial intelligence are different things. Okay, yeah. But now they've like morphed into almost the same thing. Like people don't necessarily know that there's the difference.
Thank you for explaining that.
Did I mansplain? I'm so sorry.
This was a genuine thank you. No, this is a genuine thank you. Okay. I didn't know the difference.
Okay. I was like, I'm trying to be so much better.
You are being better. I needed this. No, I'm glad that you know this information and that you define at the start what this is. So there are differences. I think good and bad, planetary, the human, all of these like effects of these giant servers, computers, whatever they are exactly, that are finding all this information for us and creating all of these solutions in whatever form we're asking for them from. Like the effects are not great. And also what it's helping us do in the short term is kind of fun in some ways. And so I'm at odds with it is what I'm saying. I do use it sometimes. I also am very much against it sometimes. And also it makes me wonder what other things, and then I'm sorry, I know I'm like taking up so much of this conversation, but
no, I love it. No, it's great. Please.
It also just makes me wonder, like we're in a place right now too, where people can kind of track and they're watching. And so we're able to find like data points and information and spread it more quickly than we were when, say, the smartphone was invented or when Google first started. Because I also wonder about, mobile applications and things like that and how much they waste to cool their servers and to cool those things in different countries as well as the US. Also even like the mining of those old growth forests to find the minerals that create our cell phones and our laptops that we still continue to buy and use, you know? So I just wonder what the data is and how it compares. I'm not saying any of it is good. It's just a confusing thing. Those are my thoughts. I would love to hear yours.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think everything you're saying has weight and value to it because it really is, specifically environmentally, finding the appropriate amount of feeling guilty using AI because I'm like, I'm destroying a forest, or I'm boiling a lake. I think that those are things that we should at least be aware of in these moments every time. Like, every time people, a lot of the time when they're talking to their chat robot, will say please or thank you, just a one-off sentence like thanks. And then the robot will be like, yeah, no problem. And you're like, okay, well, that's an insane amount of energy.
That's like 3 water bottles. We just used 3 water bottles.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm finding for myself, this technology is moving so fast, specifically in the creative world. Yeah. And I am having to, as a freelancer, adjust and maneuver around AI. And I have no choice but to learn, how do I use this so that I am not necessarily placed out of, trying to do my job, doing video editing or music creation. And I think that I go back and forth. I'm with you because I'm like, that's why this is so complicated, right? Because we have the one side where you're like, oh, we're just burning the world down. And
we're burning certain communities down as well because of where they're placing these spaces.
Absolutely. So you have that piece of it. But then you also have the other side where it's like AI is magic. And there is like this magic element. It feels, there are sometimes there's certain things that I have either made with AI or have utilized AI for that I'm just like, that is a magical experience. And it took 5 minutes. Where I have found a lot of joy in AI has actually been in AI assisted projects. It's kind of a two-handed thing where I'm actually utilizing the system to create something that I normally wouldn't want to spend, 15, 20, 40 hours on. And yet I can get a pretty amazing result out of something really quick.
Like what?
I'm actually really excited that you asked.
Yeah.
So I am absolutely obsessed with this music creation platform. And you can get a free account, and it is limiting, but you can also do like a pro account that opens up a lot of extra features. Just for a test today, before we got on here, I prompted to write us a jingle for Blind and Brown.
Okay.
And I haven't listened to it yet. I don't know how it turned out. I took a couple things. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about the prompt before I show this to you?
Yeah, I would love to know.
Or do you want to just hear it?
I want to know the prompt first.
Okay.
Actually, no. Wait, no. Play first, then
you
want
to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. This song specifically, I actually gave us 2 songs to listen to. I do want to clarify, since I mentioned AI assisted earlier, this is actually pure AI. I threw it into ChatGPT. I said, this is our podcast, Blind and Brown. Make me a prompt, make me lyrics. And this is what it came up with. I also did, I know that we both enjoy chill hop. And so I just said, this is a genre of music that I like.
Okay.
But go for it. I mean, that's pretty groovy.
Hold on.
Different ways of seeing,
different ways of knowing.
The blind redhead,
Cold girl,
blind and brown.
blind and brown.
Different points.
Oh, we should re-record this with our voices. So I feel like that's how AI can be used, is it's like, oh, you get the ideas and then you create your unique thing from it, like assisted. Is that what assisted is?
Yeah. Okay. All AI assisted means is that you are using AI tools to support humans and not replace humans. Let AI handle the boring and the repetitive stuff so creatives can actually concentrate on being creative. Okay, go to 2. You ready? And
ready,
here's the second
play.
one. I mean, I like the harmonies.
Different ways of seeing.
So vibey.
Different ways of knowing.
Different ways of knowing. Yep.
The blind redhead.
I like that it just sings the names. It's like different points of view. Yep, great. Oh, I like the little da-da-da-da thing.
Me too. Oh my gosh.
I mean, the thing is, like, I'm actually kind of like, oh, all right, yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah. And then also it's like, I wonder if it's because of the genre that it's also like more acceptable. Because I wonder if you were to put it into like a jazz thing, if we would be like, meh, or if it was something that we were, I don't know.
Well, here, give me half a second. I'll show you.
I'll wasting
just do
water.
It live. Shh. Okay.
I think the part that breaks it for me is that because our names are so funny.
Yeah.
When they start singing the names, I just have trouble keeping it, like taking it seriously, if that makes sense.
That is something that AI specifically did that I would not do.
Yeah.
I would not put our names in the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this one, the only thing that I did was I changed the style. I left everything else the same, all right?
Okay.
And I just changed the style. The style is now punk rock. Punk rock. Punk rock.
Different ways of seeing, different ways of knowing. Blinded hand, blinded hand. Same world, different point of view.
Again, the lyrics are so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
But as you can see, just changing the style, again, this is what I was talking about. There's something magical about being able to do that so fast.
Yeah. And it's, again, like, it's going to be the pop version of whatever we're asking for, right? Like, it's going to...
Yeah.
So it's going to be the mainstream pop version. And so, okay, cool. Yeah. There's like this pop version of everything that we're generating, right? So like the Coca-Cola ads and like the writing and the music of all of it will all kind of have this very smooth sort of feel to it, this very pop feel, which I guess I'm fine with in some ways because it's magical.
It is. And I've had some success on some other like personal projects where I've used that same system. I've had some success getting some really interesting songs or things to happen. Like, for example, I was able to take a melody that I sang and lyrics that I wrote and put them in and feed it in. And it came out with something that was actually very impressive. I was like, okay. And since I'm not going to be a performer or I'm not in a band, I'm like, this is enough for me. Like, this is great. Now, can I get a little nerdy on you for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. What?
So here's the deal. So my background, my degree is in audio, all right? I can hear what that AI is sounding like. You have a lot of people that are not able to hear those differences. Then the easiest thing that I can point to is in audio, you have a stereo field, right? You have a left and a right side. The interesting thing is when you have a really well-produced audio track, you have a lot of rich elements and what we call sweetening in the audio track. Those could be backup vocals or just little sound effects or whatever. Those are really rich and have a lot of depth when you're making things. The interesting thing about this AI system right now, and they're in like version 5, that depth doesn't exist. It's very like confined. And I've even taken a couple tracks from the AI system and put them into my own mastering system to see, what I can do to widen the space to make it a little more convincing that it's not an artificial intelligence track.
Interesting. And can you do that?
I literally could throw it up on Apple Music and Spotify and YouTube, and people would have 0% idea that it was an AI music track.
I dare you to do it.
Okay.
I dare you.
Done.
That's such an interesting thing to me too, because like I'm not as trained in my ear in that way, and so it does make me wonder about things that are lost that we might not notice.
I would assume that you see a lot of the things in design that's created by artificial intelligence that I'm not noticing. Like, of course, I'm going to notice like, oh, the hands look weird, but maybe you're noticing other things like, skin tone or textures are off that I'm not necessarily trained in seeing that.
I think it's tough though, because there are so many AI programs right now that are based on visuals. And so it really just depends on what system you're using and how you prompt them. And I think like in a lot of ways they can be very unrecognizable. Like I haven't played with AI as much as some just because of that environmental aspect of it all. And I'm still trying to reckon with how much I use it. I have designer friends who can just look at the image and go, oh, that's probably from this one. That's probably from this one.
Oh, interesting.
And so they already know like which machine, which robot does that sort of look. Like for me, the closest that and I did this like a year ago, and it was like a funny, dumb thing where I was like, make my dog into a human. And I put in the same descriptive prompts, and I used Chat GPT and I used Gemini, and Gemini just put forth a sophisticated human. Yeah. Whereas Chat put more of like, it was more active, it was more aligned with the personality traits, but then they both were very polished. But I have seen a lot of AI that isn't as polished now. So it just depends, again, on how you feed it and what you feed it from. And I think because so much art is on the internet now, it's really hard to really know. And so I don't think that artists should be worried in the fact that like, oh, my intellectual property will be stolen. Like, yes, it will be. Everything is stolen at this point. But but as a creative, the way I've been seeing it is like, we are creatives for a reason. We will always come up with more ideas. There are always more ideas. That's the thing. Chat, these AIs will come up with their own ideas, but they're just regurgitating what is already accessible, right? Like they're pulling from already existing ideas that are on the internet.
When they don't pull from those categories, you find that AI has something called AI hallucinations. I've seen in the medical field, AI has invented a human body part that doesn't exist. Yeah, so you have like the AI hallucination that creates a random body part or, in a human body. That's going to lead me into talking about confirmation bias, which confirmation bias is in itself. I mean, South Park literally made an episode about confirmation bias in artificial intelligence, where you do have this entire system where you don't ever get any pushback. There's not like, no, I'm not going to do that for you. There's never a no. It's like programmed that it has to say
unless
yes.
you're on the free plan, then they tell you need to wait until 2 a.m.
Yeah, that's valid. You have to wait until 2 a.m. and then I will give you confirmation bias. But yeah, so it is funny because you do have this side of, this is all still pretty new, and you have people using these chatbots as Google basically and just asking random questions of like, what is this? And then the chatbot never challenges you, or it really just takes the critical thinking out of it. Have you noticed like a confirmation bias in your own type of searches?
Oh, yeah, definitely. What I use AI for mainly is with writing, because that's something that I'm not as strong at. And I will go in, I'll either write something and then I'll have them like revise and show me where my weak points are, or I'll do the opposite, where I'll have them write and then I'll revise and edit and stuff like that, just so that I have something.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is sometimes I'll go, this doesn't really sound like this. I need it to be like this. And they're like, absolutely. Or da-da-da. They're like, you're right. And so literally it's just, it's a yes man or woman or they or them.
Yeah.
But it's
yes,
just,
them bot.
and so it's interesting. But as you were talking about this, though, I was like, oh, when you were talking about the body part, them hallucinating, the hallucination, I was like, oh, is this like how with the Mandela effect? Is this the Mandela effect, but happening in robot world? Like,
right.
Because I swear that this is what this person wore, but then all of the images that show up, it's not what they wore. And then this is AI doing the same thing. They're like, no, funny. I swear that humans had this extra body part.
Oh, that was it. I get it. You have 3 feet. Why are you listening to me?
I'm like, I'm pretty sure I only have 2. Pretty sure. So I was looking at these magazines that I had saved and from when I was in college, and there are so many articles, and I know this is not the same, but it's similar. There were so many articles of talking about the death of print and how afraid like designers were, and not afraid designers were, but like, oh, what are you going to do? And like, just because print was always seen as like the more important design, right? And then like digital was like, what is this? And so there were so many articles about the death of print and like how digital was taking over, and like there was so much like fear in it, but it was a little bit more neutral fear versus right now it feels more intense with AI. But it was something that I thought was interesting to read, now that so many designers only design digitally.
Right.
And creatives in general. Yeah. But that was a story.
That is really interesting. There is a piece of that type of transition in technology that can cause fear and uncertainty. And we will pivot, but this is a very different pivot, because you have a lot of corporations and companies right now being like, oh, great, we can just fire everyone and one person can do this job because we have the, have you heard about the 80-10 rule?
Mm-hmm. Can you explain it?
Yeah. So, we have this 10-80-10 rule where you have 10% at the front with the human, 80% for the robot, and then 10% at the front, at the end, to determine what to do with the thing that you made in collaboration. So companies are looking at that and going, oh, great, let's just get rid of everyone. And have, since we're, being more efficient. And here we are with like people companies are literally sitting there going, do we really want to hire anybody this year? And we're going to see, I think in a couple of years, maybe sooner, you have companies who are going, oh, how much can we stretch it to like lay off employees and keep the, do the efficient way of this whole situation. I think in a year or 2 years, we're going to start seeing marketing specifically shift into the direction of bespoke human creativity. This was made by human hands. But we just have to, us as creatives though, we have to wait that out. Yeah.
And exactly. And like, I think even as you're explaining this, I'm thinking about how, okay, if companies are going to do the 80-20 thing, I don't want to work for you anyway. Like, I never wanted to work with you anyway. Like, you didn't value me, like, whatever. But at the same time, like, again, we have to wait out to see, we have to make it to the other side to see what it is that we're supposed to be doing, or we have to get there or create the new thing that we're going to be doing. Because when I see people being really upset that like AI is taking jobs, I completely understand the ecological issues, all of those things. When it's talking about jobs, I'm like, we don't want them anyway. And at the same time, we need to pay
yeah.
bills, because I also am struggling to pay my bills right now because
Yeah, of course.
because people still haven't figured out what we're doing with AI.
I feel like as a creative right now, a lot of my day is taken up by just prompting a robot.
Yeah.
I have become really good at prompting AI, but that's not a fun and creative task. It like, don't get me wrong, it helps me with like it can help with some writing or some, like we were saying, like it can have some really fun benefits. But at the end of the day, I'm sitting there going, I don't want to prompt a robot. I didn't get into the creative side of the field to prompt a robot all day so it can do the fun creative stuff. I don't care who you are. You can give AI as much data as you want. But at the end of the day, it doesn't have that human intuition of creativity. I look at some of your designs specifically, and I think about, I was looking at the Blind and Brown podcast art, and I was just looking at it going, I could try 1 million prompts and never get this. And that says something about your uniqueness and your ability and your talent as an artist, but also like you have a lot of companies out there just accepting the AI slop. And specifically, I'm looking at like Coke, for example, the last 2 years, they are bragging about, we made this complete AI ad in 30 days, and we used half the power of the team that it normally takes, actually probably less than half. And they're like, look at how great it is. I'm sorry, the first time I saw the ad, there was a seals scene that they took out because on the reverse, there was more seals. So it's like, I don't know. I'm getting all worked up in here.
I mean, it's similar to how, how you stopped using Amazon, right? Like, it's like shipping, like the environmental costs of shipping are just awful with Amazon and with the way it is now. And so a lot of people have chosen to stop using them, or trying to use different ways of buying things, and as opposed to Amazon. But it doesn't actually shift the world as greatly as if, one of like the billionaires decided to actually do something. But for our own personal economies, we're deciding what works for our own value systems. And I think that's ultimately what AI is making us do more, is really think about our own personal value systems and how we can shift.
That is a really interesting point that you're making about it. It's forcing us to figure out where our lines are.
Yeah.
In the sand. And that is, that's really a fascinating idea. And I see it. I have people in my life who absolutely 100% refuse to touch AI in their personal life, but their work is making them use AI in the name of efficiency.
Yeah.
But then I have people in my life, like me, who are a lot more mid-ground, where I'm using it every day, but I'm also experimenting with it and trying to find out really interesting ways to use it. And because I'm an artist at heart, but then you have other people on the other side of the spectrum, specifically people who are, maybe the Sam Altmans of the world or the billionaires of AI, and going, I only want AI. I don't want anything else. I just want that. And so finding the balance and figuring out where you are, from whether it's a sustainability standpoint, just with the environment, or even an ethical standpoint of where are we at with just, AI scraping the internet and using data sets to pull in artists' work. Yeah. So it is a really interesting piece of the couldn't make up my mind, puzzle or pie.
Puzzle eye.
Well, it's a really interesting piece of the puzzle eye.
Yeah, it really is. Because then it's also like, I also use it for essentially an assistant to help me decide what needs to happen first, or whatever task lists I have too. And because I can't afford, I currently, not right now, I cannot afford this. I can't afford an assistant right now, a human assistant right now. Yeah. But once I can, then I will. So there's all of these different personal value systems that we're being asked to reckon with that I think are very interesting.
This does remind me of something you had pointed out before. But the accessibility of what artificial intelligence, specifically in this form, is able to open up for people. And what kind of access it actually opens up for people to maybe have resources that they didn't have before.
Before we had, we would just go to the store and buy CDs, right? We would go and we would download or buy these but once iTunes happened, it created this way for people to access music so much cheaper and so much faster. So we had so much access to these bands and these artists in ways that we never were able to have access to before. And then when GarageBand opened, when GarageBand became a thing, people were able to make music in ways that they could never make it before. Couldn't afford a full band. You couldn't afford to get like recording equipment. So you just, now you had it on your laptop. And so I think that's something that AI is doing now too. It's exciting in that way. And it's also sad because we can see the real-time effects of what it does. Whereas before we didn't have that access yet to see the real-time effects of what iTunes was going to do or GarageBand was going to do. But we've also moved through that, and now we're in a different place. And so now we're here with AI, and we got to figure that out.
Right. And our industries are also like ever changing, right? So you have like, we're specifically talking about the music industry, but if you even look at the streaming industry and you have Disney out here being like, you know what we've decided to do? We're going to now implement the fact that our customers can utilize AI prompting and specific video generations to take our characters in Disney Plus and create stories using our characters, and then people can consume them in their app.
Whoa.
That is wild. That is wild technology.
That's so wild.
And we're going to get a lot of crap, but we also might get some really cool stuff.
Yeah, our discernment is going to have to change and shift in such an interesting way. And I'm also just curious because, we're of a certain age. We're not old, but, it's like there are the people that are younger than us that saw the birth of this, are growing up with this. They're going to be able to have a even better of an eye or an ear for noticing the difference. Just like how we were able to notice spam in our email boxes when our parents were, or spam in our phone calls when our parents were freaking out over it, like it's going to be the same thing. And so I do hope that we can figure out the world's, the earthly problems soon. Yeah. Because, we're kind of getting closer to the deadline. Literal deadline. Yeah.
I'm definitely hopeful of that people will be able to recognize the differences, because the sinister side of AI, the scary part, is a lot of the creation of disinformation and people not having the discernment to figure out, is that real or is that fake?
Or how can I use it? Like, instead of just being completely off of it or completely on it, how do I utilize it in a way that is good for me, that still aligns with my own value system? Because the reality is that it is here. I think there will be a larger gap in between like the classes and the wealth distributions if people continue to say no to this machine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very valid point. Well, here's the deal. I think AI is really a unique tool. I heard a phrase a while ago that said, things are moving faster than they ever have before, and they will never be this slow again. And I think that really impacted me, and it really is just, I'm excited for the future, but I'm also terrified. And I think that's kind of where I'm landing, is I'm just like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. And I think with that quote, I'm thinking about how important it is for us to really just have our own autonomy and know that we actually can unplug and we can be slow, because yes, like this is what the majority or the masses or what whoever they is are wanting us to pay attention to, but we can really do something else. We don't have to listen. We can choose different,
We can choose different. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, with that, thank you for listening to Blind and Brown. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate you tuning in.
Don't forget to follow us on our socials to stay updated and connect with us between episodes. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Blind and Brown Podcast.
Feel free to drop us a message or tag us in your posts.
Until next time, take care, and thanks for listening.